Hello, hello. So today here we are here with a new episode, right?
Yes.
And we are going to speak about continuous learning,
Yeah.
about how you can always try to improve yourself and to be better and better day after day, trying to not only to learn new things and to always research from the things you don't know, but also about how you can improve yourself, like continuously improving yourself about things you're not really good, and you try to kind of benchmark yourself to make um, to make you a better version of yourself, actually. Yes. So I have my really special guest. Guest, actually. You are like, we are 50-50 on the podcast, let's say, especially for this episode. So, yes, madam, I know that you are really good at self improving yourself. You try always to. You are one of the only person I know who always tries to see how better you can be in some specific areas, topics, or things you don't know, and you always like to ask for feedback, how it can be done better, and so on. And you also kind of like, when you don't know something, to research on the internet. And in my case, I do a bit something similar. When I never know something, I research directly, and I add some notes on my note app or even on Bear app, and so after it's much easier to find my notes. And it's a kind of personal search engine, so it's a personal Google just for me. When I don't know something, I search in my database I have already on my phone, and if it's something new I don't know, I just do a research. I take some specific notes and I store the notes again in on my phone on a specific app such as Note or Bear app. So, but for you, so my guest actually, my guest has a lot of really good tricks about self improving. To learn, to learn. You know already something, you do it already, but you always try to perform better. I've seen that in a lot of different occasions. And yes, what would you like to say for today's episode?
Yeah, so basically in my head, it's like if you want to do a good job or perform good in the aspect of things that you like, or you must seek feedback, which is what I've been doing. And also when people tell you that they want this or that, or I think it's better if you do this, try to listen to people around you, because it's improvement is could be a self journey, but sometimes people are there to help you, tell you, okay, I think you should do better, stuff like that, because we see ourselves in a different way, we see ourselves, okay, this is how I see myself, but for other people, they see you in a different point of view. So I think that it's
Mm-hmm.
good to seek feedback from other people as well. So that's how basically I um, is my base on continuous learning and self improvement. It's information from external sources, because when I just rely on self assessment, it won't be enough. It won't be enough, because you would always think that, okay, I think I'm doing better in that area, but apparently you're not. So this is why feedback is important, asking people on how to improve on certain areas that you think doesn't have room for improvement, but it has. Then it's good. It's good to ask people about information, you know, because that's how you improve yourself. That is mainly what I do in improving myself. How about you, sir? Do you have any tactics on how to improve yourself?
So yeah, the pieces of advice you just gave is really good. Actually, I really agree with you. And yes, sometimes it's too hard to know if you do it better or not if you don't have someone else, like another opinion, who sees yourself. Not because we have difficulties to judge ourselves, just ourselves. Sometimes we need another other eyes to look at us and to say, oh, actually what you do is not good enough, or actually what you do now is really good. And sometimes, yeah, it's hard to judge ourselves. However, if you don't have anyone to give feedback, what you could do is also to film yourself doing something. I don't know, you want to learn dancing, I mean, you are learning hip hop, or I don't know, any kind of dance, I don't know, salsa or whatsoever. You can dance in front of your mirror. The mirror is already helping. That's why actually in every dance studio they have mirrors. But what you can do as well is to record yourself with a camera. You just record yourself, and after you watch again the video. And it will be much easier for you to see if you do it right or not. And you compare yourself on the video with other really professional people you can see on YouTube, and you even try to have two different screens, like two different frames on your screen laptop, for instance, and so you can really compare you with another professional dancer, and so you can know if you do it right or not. And actually recording yourself can be in multiple different areas in your life. It's not only in dancing. I don't know, if you want to be a really good cook, maybe recording yourself, you making dishes. Obviously, the result at the end, if it's tasty or not, is really important. But also the way how you cook. Uh, you know, you see if the person is a good cook or not just by the way they use the kitchen tools, the pans, the pots, and so on. Because someone who just started to cook, well, they're a bit more clumsy. I mean, they're a bit clumsy. They have different habits, and that's also a good way to improve yourself, I believe. If you want to, the same actually for sprints. When you want to run really fast, you always try to improve yourself, not only by being quicker, so you timer yourself, and every day you do a sprint, you try to do the same distance, but faster. So if you do like 20, or I don't know, 50 meters, you will try to do it always faster. But you also can ask, yeah, then in that kind of situation it's easier to have someone else who knows a bit how people run in a good way, and try to ask them what you can improve with your body, like the position of your feet, the way you breathe. When you run, actually, breathing is really important. Usually, you are out of breath just because you don't know how to breathe correctly. And that's also, you can try to ask feedback, but also you can don't give you an excuse, oh, I'm alone, I cannot improve myself. No, because no matter if you're alone or not, no excuse, because you can always find the information on the internet, on videos, or again you can record yourself and try to judge by yourself. And sometimes we are very bad, at least for me, I believe we are bad at judging ourselves. We always tend to judge other people, but we never judge ourselves in the same way. And we should actually, because it's so hard to judge ourselves, because it's we don't. It's always much easier to judge someone else than ourselves, because we know ourselves too well. However, when you record yourself, or when you look at what you did, like a few months ago, you can know better. Try to judge yourself like it's not you. I know it's weird, but if you record yourself, like what I was saying, by when you dance, and if you record yourself in your bedroom dancing, you put the camera at the bottom, so I mean not too high, so you can see the way you move your legs and so on. And then when you replay the video, you should try to see this is just someone dancing, it's not me. You can even call yourself with a different name, so it will even be easier. And the same for speaking, like if you are you are not very good at doing interviews, I don't know, or even job interviews, and you want to improve yourself having a job interview, you should try to ask either a friend, family members, friends, partners, whatsoever, to try to stimulate an interview with yourself. Say like, yeah, this is a professional interview, you should really, that person can even follow a script, and record yourself as well. And you can also try to stimulate an interview with yourself, so you can just have you just print a photo of, I don't know, maybe of the CEO of the company you want to apply. You print it and you put it on the wall, like like you have your desk, you are seated in front of the wall, and you just look at the person, and it's like, imagine like he is interviewing yourself. That's a really good way to perform better and to be better. Another way can be also, I mean, you have a lot of different ways actually to improve and to be a better learner. In my case, usually I tend to do a lot of research on the internet, and when I don't know something, I always try to find the information, like I said, and then I store into a note that reflects my understanding, because sometimes you can find an article on Wikipedia, it sounds interesting, but it's not made for you. The words don't really, like you would change the words in your own way because it makes more sense for you, or maybe you will highlight some parts of the text. So what I do, I usually copy paste. I paste it in a new note on my phone or on the cloud usually. So I have all the notes over all my devices, and I just copy paste from a good article. Then I change and I try to make it as short as possible, and I try to have just the word I really want, like all the text, and then I highlight the part that makes more sense for me. Then I tag the note with some specific keywords, and later on maybe I will forget, or the repeated learning, the way like you should always repeat your learning. So you don't know something, you should just I will just have a look. Repeated learning, I'm just having a look on my phone, because I always forget that kind. I mean, it's really it's an easy way. It's a very famous way to learn. It's like you should always repeat your learning always when you want to look at that, you don't see it.
So yeah, repetition is good when you want to learn.
Yes, I think you know it.
Yeah, it's just like practice. The more you do it,
just a bit, but you shouldn't learn for really spaced learning. Yeah, spaced learning. So spaced learning is a learning method in which highly condensed learning. So it's really short, at 10 minutes, 20 minutes of content, and you repeat them maybe even 2 or 3 times a day. And yeah, actually in Wikipedia, like the article is spaced learning. So what I would do, I would just copy paste some parts of the article. I will make it on my own way. I mean, the way it makes more sense for me. And I will paste it on my notes. Like here, I have a note. I have a note. I create a new note on my phone, and I change what I want to change. I remove the information I don't. I think that are not good, and then with all the information I have in my notes, I will just try to have like 2 or 3 reminders a day, and my reminder will just say me, oh hey, have a look to that folder in your notes app, and that folder has all the information and all the knowledge I want to learn, but I know that I have to, the information is too wide, so that's why I need to repeat, to read over and over again to have the information reinforced, to reinforce the information and the knowledge in my head, in my brain, and that helps me a lot to know after the information in the long term. Teaching can be also very, very good when you want to reinforce information, because teaching forces you to structure the information in a way you can teach to someone else. And if you're able to teach the information very clearly, it means you know that topic very well. If you're not able to teach the topic very well to someone else, it means you don't actually know that well the information. Because when you know exactly how to structure a specific topic to teach the information to someone else, then you are like mastering the information very well. I mean that topic. And that helps as well to reinforce very well the information and to be a kind of an expert in that area. Do you have anything nice to say about that?
Yeah. Well, of course, your mindset is also important.
Oh yes.
When you think that I'm the, like, there's no room for improvement anymore, this is the best.
No, there's
then, yes,
always a room for improvement.
Yes, then you're stuck in that level.
When you're too confident, do you
mean? When you're too confident with your skills, it's like you don't even, assess yourself well, and you just think that this is the best, So the mindset is important. When you think that this may be the best, but it could be better, So
it
mindset
can always be better.
It can always be better. Mindset is so important when it comes to continuous learning. It's like, because when you think that this is the peak, this is the roof, then you can't move up any further. Then you would think, okay, there's nothing to learn anymore, which is wrong.
Exactly.
Because you could still learn more. You could still learn new things on a certain aspect in your life that you want to be better or best at. So mindset is so important when it comes to continuous learning, because if you think that, also not about always thinking that you're the best. Sometimes people think that, you know what, who cares, as long as I'm doing the bare minimum, then it's fine. But no, that's not the recipe for continuous learning, continuous improvement. Because if you think that doing the bare minimum is okay, then how would you have the motivation to improve yourself? So I think mindset is important when it comes to continuous learning, that's what I added as well to doing that.
Did you change your mindset? Did you have a different mindset in the past?
For me?
Yes.
No, I think that when it comes to things that you should know more or better, I think you should still learn. When I was working at my home country, and I don't know how to do initially the things that I have to do, so I try to write all the information that I have to learn. That is my responsibility.
Oh, that's really good. Can you dig a little? I mean, can you go a little bit deeper in the way how you did it?
Oh yeah, so I was a fresh graduate. And then I know
That's
nothing.
Great.
I mean, I know I had my licensure examination, and I know some things, but of course the area of my profession back in my home country is like so wide.
So your profession was
I'm a pharmacist. Yes, I'm a pharmacist. So um, so wide you cannot learn everything, but of course, not everything is not going to be in your head. No, no, but you have to, and that's okay, because it doesn't have to be there all the time in your head. No, that's okay. You can just have reference and stuff like that. So I'm a fresh graduate.
So don't be stressed.
Don't be stressed. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay to not know.
It's okay to not know anything, as long as your mindset is different. So anyways, so I was a fresh graduate, and then I was looking for a job, and then I got one, because pharmacy is not, there's not a lot of pharmacists in my home country. So I got the job, but then I have to do it alone. Okay, it's not.
You had no one else to help you, do you mean?
Yes, I have no one else to help me to do my job, because it's a shifting. So I have no one else to help me, because it's so thank God, with my with that branch, the other pharmacist taught me the ropes and how to do the things.
Yes.
But then I wrote everything.
So
step by step.
how did you improve yourself at that stage? You felt that, wow, actually I don't know anything, I didn't learn that during my studies.
Never.
So what do I do now? Like, how can you help someone else in the same situation as you?
I think that was it, taking notes.
What would you say to yourself, 21 years old, fresh graduate? How would you help you?
I would say to myself,
to someone in the same situation as you, but who doesn't know what kind of techniques to be as good as the other colleagues in your pharmacy.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, actually, I've mentioned it before. It's okay not to know anything.
Yes.
It's okay.
But how can you make yourself better to know? I mean, what kind of techniques did you use, and what helped you?
The thing that I did is actually I mimicked her a bit. The pharmacist was really good. She was so good, and she's good at her job. So I actually tried to be like her. It's like copying somebody who you want to be. So it's good. And then
copying even the gestures. I mean, what kind of?
Oh no, not the gestures. More like the habits of that person. That made her better. But of course, you have to make it personal. You have to make it your habit.
So you're thinking how she was thinking, or
yes,
how she was doing, how she
like thinking, but also deviating from the original. Deviating from the original, because you have to make it your own. So you have to have like a good, and I also surrounded myself with people who are good at their job, which is you have to do better, because otherwise it's like you're the complete opposite of the person. So you have to surround yourself with people that are good.
Much better than you.
Much better than I am.
Always surrounding yourself with much better people than you if you want to be better.
Yeah, which made me happy.
Yes.
But so what I did actually initially was write a lot of things. Write a lot of things. Such as because we're using a software. To using like like a software, I would say, because which is from the branch, it correlates to the head office. So what we do in the branch is the information is gonna be reflected to the office. So let's say we do some ordering of stocks, so we just have to generate some sort of from what we have in the branch, and then it would reflect to the head office, and then they would know like what drugs should be sent to our branch. So I had to write everything, just everything, step by step, write everything. And sometimes when maybe I know what I'm doing, I don't look at the list anymore and just try to do it on my own and see how I improve myself, which is good thing too. And repetition all the time. Repetition, it helped me. A lot of repetition. Repetition
in the actions you do, or in the repetition of the notes you took? I mean, you would.
Repetition in the action repeat. I do. Sometimes it's muscle memory, just like learning how to.
And how can you repeat if you don't have the opportunity to do?
Oh, that's a bit difficult, because in this scenario, okay, that was a bit difficult because let's just, if we're talking about the software, it's pretty hard to replicate because it's owned by the company. So yeah, maybe just looking at the notes, but then.
So for you, each time there was a new customer that you needed to get new pills, new medicines,
Yeah.
you had an opportunity to use that software.
All the time.
So that was good. So were you afraid to ask questions when you didn't know what to do
To navigate.
to navigate in the software, for instance? What would you do? Because it's a really specific software, you don't even have the information on the internet.
No.
So what would you do? Would you always ask one person, the same person, someone else, trying to avoid using the software? No, maybe not.
No, because everything is bound to that software. But then I asked my partner actually, like, what is this, stuff like that.
It's really important, I believe, always to ask. There's no dummy questions. You know?
If you don't know, just ask. There's nothing wrong. As you know, which one would you prefer? Asking questions, probably in your head, humiliating yourself, even though there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
Or, thinking that you can do it, but apparently you can't, and then mistakes happen.
And also, I believe the problem when you ask something too late, that you don't want to ask because you think it might be dumb to ask, and you are still like, it's your second week at the company and you want to give a good impression of yourself. You're still in probation time and so on, and then you still don't know, and maybe 8 months later you really need to know, so you will ask, and they will say, wow, you have been here for 8 months and you don't know. So I think you shouldn't be afraid to ask everything at the beginning. After, they will forget that you asked a lot of questions.
And they will understand.
But at least in the beginning, you are forgiven because you don't know.
Yeah.
It makes sense. But maybe when you're later, if you didn't ask at that time, you still don't know when you're later. So if you ask 1 or 2 years later, well, then they will think, oh, actually you are supposed to know that now. And you didn't ask because you're afraid to ask the questions, to look
dumb,
a bit, yes.
No.
But no, at the beginning, you will never be dumb. I mean, questions, you should always ask questions. To me, I love when someone asks me a question, I love it. Because I always love to, for me, it's even challenging for myself, because I want to help, to give the best answer, like the easiest one. And always, like, when someone asks me something, it's also challenging for myself, because I want to find the shortcut, the right explanation, because sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you are too verbose, you speak too much for actually a really simple answer. But because you don't really know actually yourself that well, you know it, but not enough to explain in a good manner, in a good way. So it means you don't know that much because you didn't find a good way to explain a complex problem. So it's also good for you, actually. When someone asks you, it can be also a good opportunity for you to improve yourself. So in my case, I love when people ask me questions at work, for instance.
Yeah, so always see everything as an opportunity to improve yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. Always, everything is an opportunity actually to improve yourself.
Yeah.
You should never think, oh, this is a waste of time, because actually maybe not. But if you think it's a waste of time, then you might not use the opportunity in a good way to improve yourself. Because everything is an opportunity to improve yourself when something happens, but only when you use that problem in a good way to improve yourself. You should always see, okay, now that happened, but how can I turn it into an opportunity that helps me?
Yeah, a learning experience.
That is a learning experience.
Yeah.
Not really that helps me, but that is a learning experience for myself.
A learning opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah, so always.
Always, yeah.
I think it's a mindset. It should be a mindset. Yeah, because otherwise, if you think
It should really be part of your your
Yeah.
habits, like you
Yeah.
said. And finally, I would like to go back to your notes. You said you took a lot of
oh, I
notes.
did.
How did it help you? Just writing it down, does it help you to memorize?
Oh yes.
Or did you look back to your notes or not?
At the beginning, it helps with the writing
Yeah.
because just the
Writing help you
to familiarize
mm,
the steps in the words, But as soon as I did it, the more I did it, the lesser I started looking at my notes, which means I have improved because I don't need my notes anymore. I have come to a point in my profession where I don't have to look at notes anymore. But of course, there's that's just in the aspect of the software that I'm speaking
Yeah.
about. But when it comes to new information, such as new drugs, side effects, contraindications of a drug, you can't memorize everything because there's
no,
a
it's
lot of things.
impossible.
So you just have to look at the book like a source,
Oh, you had some books.
Yeah, we have some books, like a list of all the drugs and medications.
Notice, I mean,
Yes, with all the precautions,
Mm.
not for pregnant women, have it with meals, don't take it with milk. Yeah, so that's how because we can't memorize everything. There's just a lot of everything. For one generic name, there's got to be lots of brand name.
So you shouldn't try to learn everything because that's impossible, and otherwise you will give up. Just this is what it is.
Bit per
I will
bit.
just try bit per bit to improve myself, but anyway, I have to accept that I will never know everything.
Everything, no. You
Because
never
I
know
think,
everything.
I believe we might also sometimes go to the opposite. Like some people would love to know everything, and that's just impossible. And so they will spend time in things that actually they will never know 100%.
Yeah.
So trying to do the impossible is a waste of time as well.
Yeah, and you would only frustrate yourself because
And then you will give up and you will not learn
Yeah.
anymore.
then you would hate the subject which
Exactly,
you were
yeah.
passionate about. So just
So don't be too harsh on yourself either.
don't be too harsh on yourself. But just improve yourself and don't be too harsh. No, and then if you don't know things, then ask questions. Asking is free. As someone
Asking is
said.
free. Yes. In my case, I believe when asking, you have two options. And it's not me only who believes, it's the truth. So either you don't ask, the answer will be no. Because if you don't ask, well, it's like the person says to you, it's a no. So if you don't ask, you already have the answer no. If you ask, you have 50-50. You have the option maybe to have a yes, and actually we don't think how many yes we can get by asking something. Like usually we think we would get much more no, and actually by asking a lot of things we get a lot more yes. Yeah, definitely. So asking something, then you can either have a no or a yes, but at least you give yourself a chance to have a yes. But if you don't ask at all, it's like the same as you ask and you have a no. But sometimes for us, it's a bit like a failure. And so we prefer not asking, and at least we prevent a failure on ourselves. And I believe this kind of fear is when we don't want to fail, but it's okay to fail. And when you know that failing, when we know that actually failures are fine, and this is the normal process of learning, and mistakes are really good. And when we are confident, I mean, really good only when you can learn from them. But when you are confident with a failure, you will ask, and at least by asking you might have a yes. But if you don't ask, at least you feel good for your ego because you don't have a no, you don't feel rejected, but still you should ask. I think it's also about the way we don't want to be seen as someone who asks I don't know, too much. It's also about social interactions. We don't want to receive a no because then we think, oh, maybe that person says no, so that person doesn't like me, or that person will see me as someone who try to ask for a lot of things. So but no, just ask. I know it's really hard. Asking sometimes, especially for something a bit, you know, it depends for what, but sometimes it can be for something you don't feel very confident, and yeah, you should just do it. But I think also is when you don't have a good self-esteem of yourself, when you are not really confident, you just prefer to stay in your comfort zone and not asking, because asking requires some kind of energy from yourself. Sometimes you feel too tired and you say, oh, whatsoever, I don't ask, because you need energy from yourself to go there, to say, hey, I'm sorry, can I, it takes time. I mean, it takes energy, not really time, but especially energy, especially mental energy. And sometimes, yeah, it's hard.
I mean, asking questions that you're uncomfortable asking, I think, is some sort of way of self improvement as well. Don't you think so? It improves your confidence. Yeah, which is a good topic for our next
That's an excellent
podcast.
point.
Yeah.
Yes, asking can be actually, because when you overcome your fears,
Yeah.
well,
Improve
you
your
can,
confidence.
more, the more often you overcome what scares you, the more familiar it becomes, and then it becomes like normal.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should always also try to do one thing that scares you every day. I believe,
Yeah.
every day you say, okay, what can I do? Just one little thing that scares me every day to do. Can be asking, if you're a bit shy, can be, every day you have to ask something somewhere. Like every time you go to a shop, you force yourself to speak to the salesperson, to the person from the shop. You have, like, you go to a shop, you say, okay, now I have to say something to the person at the till, for instance. You say, oh, what time do you close? Or do you sell this kind of thing? Do you sell dental floss or whatsoever? You always try to ask something, and if you are shy, for instance, so at least after you feel better, once you did it, you feel, oh, I did it, I'm happy, and nothing happened. I mean, nothing bad happened. The person was really nice with me. I'm happy. But before to do it, you feel, oh, I have to do it. Oh la la, oh ouch. You feel a bit like. But that's also really good technique to improve yourself.
You know what? You can turn it up a
Excellent
notch.
point. Sorry?
You can turn it up a notch and ask for a discount. That's the most uncomfortable
You can
question.
also, yes.
Yeah. Can I get a 10% discount?
Again, asking is free. And especially if especially when you are a tourist in a city where you know that you might not go to the shop again anymore. Because, if you know that you go to the shop every week for your grocery store, for your grocery shopping, to shop, then you know that you will see again that person. So it's more intimidating, because, otherwise, yeah. But if you know that that person, probably you will not meet that person anymore. I know the world is small, but whatsoever, and you say, hey, by the way, I really like this, but I cannot afford it. I've noticed that for the past 2 months, you still have the same amount of, I don't know, maybe it's a toy, the same amount of toys. The same amount of dolls, let's say a doll. So you really like a doll, you see that they cannot sell the dolls, and you say, oh, I would like to buy it, but maybe 25% off. I know in some countries, you have to negotiate. It's normal to negotiate. Like, I know in Morocco, in some countries, even in the south of Europe, in Mexico, in Brazil, you negotiate when you go even to a souvenir shop. You have to negotiate. And even sometimes when you don't negotiate and you look at something and then you leave, they will say, oh, by the way, it can be 10% cheaper. Directly they start the negotiation for you, even if you didn't start. In my case, when I was in Mexico, in souvenir shops, you know, you enter to the shop, you look at something, you ask a question about, can I use it also in water? I don't know, you know, something random. Or can I, it's a biscuit. Can that biscuit be good with tea as well? And they say, yeah, it's good with tea, coffee, whatsoever. Say, oh yeah, good. And then you leave, and then we say, oh, by the way, we have just 4 left. If you wish, I can make a 10% discount. So then I can actually negotiate. And then you say, oh, what about 50? And then we say, oh no, not 50, but what about 25? And then you say, oh, 30. And then and then finally you've got 30% off.
Is this Shark Tank?
That's a good. It's a good way to negotiate. Yeah, it's a bit
Shark Tank.
It's also the same for investors.
Yeah.
Yeah, investors, or when you want to buy or to sell your company. The person buying your company, they want your company at the cheapest price. It's the same for a house actually. And you selling your company, you want to sell it for the best price as well. So you two, like the seller and the buyer, are in two opposite goal. You want to make the most of money, and they want to have the best deal ever, but you have to find a fair option. So that's why both parties, I mean, you, the seller, and the buyer, and the same for Shark Tank, is like investors, partner. So you want to, to say, okay, I give 20% of equities and 20% of my company, but it has to be fair. So what's the amount of money? What you can give me in return, that's also something fair. It depends if that person's background is the opposite of your company. Then you say, oh no, that's too many percents of my company, I cannot do with it. But you have to negotiate, because they want the maximum percentage of your company, and you want more money, and you want to keep some shares, some percentage of your company for other investors, of course. So you again have to negotiate there. That's a bit out of topic, but
yeah. I love how we came from improving our
Indeed,
confidence by
yes.
asking a 10% discount to starting selling our company
But yeah,
with 10% of equity.
You are totally right.
Yeah, but this is out of topic. What I'm gonna say, maybe I'll someday we're gonna have a coffee shop or something. But then if somebody asks for a discount, it's like, yeah, I'll give you a discount.
And this is
right?
about learning. It's about knowledge,
Yeah.
and the same for the fear or the negotiation. It's also a kind of learning experience. I mean, yes, you have to learn. You need the experience as well to learn on that experience, on that situation, and then you can improve yourself. But it's still, learning is so wide. Like, can be about negotiation, about business, about 10% discount, and asking something because you shouldn't be afraid of it. And the same for like asking for 30 minutes free consultation, or can you teach me that? And I can teach you that. In my case, a few times it happened, someone said, I can teach you, I don't know, Spanish, and you teach me French. Or for us, even it could be the case. I mean, for us it's different. But someone like, I don't know, someone will say, like in my case, for me, Pierre, do you know Python, the programming language, or JavaScript? I'd say, oh yes, I do. And the other person will say, okay, I don't know much about programming, about IT, but I can teach you something you want to learn. Like, I know how to cook very well, and I know, Pierre, you are a bad cooker, so I can teach you. It's also sometimes about sharing knowledge, and that's also really important. Sharing knowledge, sometimes we underestimate the power of sharing knowledge, and you have a lot of websites. I remember before in the past you had, maybe still nowadays, on Gumtrees, yeah, you have, people posting some ads saying, I would love to, learn Spanish, and, it's like language exchange on Gumtree. I know you have a lot of good and bad ads. It's not the best platform for that, but you have different platforms for doing that. You have some meetup where you can just, some kind of workshop, you can participate as well, and that's also a kind of learning experience for yourself and try to be better in your skill. You can even organize an event, a meetup, by yourself. First, no one will know, and after you will have more and more people coming to your meetup, and it will force you to be better and better in your topic. So yeah, you can, nowadays I don't know if it's free or not. I think you have to pay a little bit to post an event on Meetup. You can also ask the participant to pay like $2, per event. It's really cheap. It's just $2 to cover the fees of Meetup. And then you organize, in a cafe. Usually they are fine, especially on Sundays. They are fine to say, you just say, oh, I might have 10 people coming to your cafe, but the cafe knows that most of the people will buy drink. So for them, of course, it's like customers. They will say, oh yeah, of course, you can go upstairs. We have a big room upstairs. It's really fine. And you don't have to pay anything because it's a win-win situation. The cafe will get more customers, and you will have a room for free. You don't have to invite those bunch of people at home, because you don't really want to do that. It's too personal.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could do that too. If you have a really huge garden, you can have a table outside, but it's also a kind of learning experience and meeting people meeting people that are in the same subject or the same topic as you. Like you want to be better in marketing, you do a marketing event in your town, in your city, especially if it's a small city. You will know all the best people in marketing. And after you can even put on your CV, I organize a meetup. I don't know, you live in a small city, even in Adelaide, I'm the one organizing a meetup about marketing, this kind of growth hacking, marketing whatsoever. And if you are the only one or the first there, you will present yourself as the one who makes you are like the one who started that kind of event for that topic. So it's also really good, and it helps you to be better in that topic. So yeah, I think that's it on my side. Do you have anything to add?
That'll be it for my side too,
perfect. So yes, that's it for this episode, and we'll probably have another one really soon, and a bit similar to this one, but maybe we'll dig into small. What did we say again about the topic we wanted to speak about for next time?
Improving your confidence.
Confidence, yeah, could
be. Yes. Yeah, let's see.
Okay, awesome. Have a nice day.